ish splat. Stop, let this shit slide and get your lick back. And get your lick back. Get your lick back. If a nigga owe you something, ain't no chit chat. Better stay up out the way, don't get your ish splat. Stop, let this shit slide and get your lick back. And get your lick back. I feel like I'm JX. J-Way. I'm a perfectionist. Adderall got me restless. I'm gone. Run with a wild crew, they get reckless. Young boy, come up off that neck. Give me that. To the trends. See you, Lee, be the band.
Good afternoon, and welcome to another episode of Corner to Copa. The Detroit Tigers managed to avoid the sweep in Cincinnati. A whole lot of offense this, I guess, the entire week as a whole, but certainly a lot of offense in Great America Ballpark, which no surprise there. We had a full week of NL Central play. Every team in NL Central is above 500 as far as I'm concerned. Should be illegal to have to play the Reds and the Brewers back-to-back because that's two scrappy, well-coached teams. But Detroit, survived and, like I said, didn't avoided the sweep. But we took 2 or 3 from a banged-up Milwaukee Brewers team at home. But Coach, what did you see this week?
It was quite the roller coaster. We took the series against Milwaukee after we finally had an off day to reset. Detroit's had, I know we've mentioned this offline, we're not really quite almost 30 games in there, but we're getting there. But they've had 2 of the longest stretches already in terms of the amount of consecutive days of games played. At least between 10 and 13 days straight already as we approach about 35 days in the season here. But a well-earned series win against Milwaukee, against a quality club who we also talked a bit offline, like that organization continues to draft well, player develop, and like the Rays of the American League, they somehow time their younger talent trade out for their return, and then they still keep winning somehow the NL Central or getting into the playoffs. They've been in the playoffs, I think, 4 or 5 straight years, either as the NL Central or wildcard team, which is crazy because they gave Yelich a bunch of money, and he's been oft injured and or substandard for a while now. So with Contreras, it's a good club. It's a good organization. But good series win, including the walk-off. I think, last 2 or 3 straight Thursday home games, day games, we've had walk-off wins, which is kind of crazy, at least the last 2 Thursdays for sure. But, Cincinnati, weird Friday night. I know you and I stayed up past the rain delay. Man, that was, halfway through, I thought to myself, this was before it resumed and before we figured out that we were still up watching it. I was like, I should go do something else. I feel like they're not going to call the game 5-3 in the 6th inning, whatever it was, 6th or 7th inning at best. Because Finnegan was having some issues with traction on the mound from what I remember. The last 1 or 2 at bats, you can kind of see he was sliding or kind of falling off the mound a little bit because it was getting kind of awkward with all the mud on there accumulating, and then they finally banged it for the delay. But that was a game too, man. 5-0. That's about as tough as it gets this year. Not only did you blow the lead, you got it back later, and then Canley, can't hold it. Ball was flying out a little bit extra after they resumed play. Only the second time Jensen's been lit up a little bit, but to our point, we got some other things we'll be talking about in length and depth today here. But to your point, get 1 game today, don't get swept, and take a well-needed mental break tomorrow, guys, because it's going to be another long stretch. So, we'll move it along here.
Yeah, so that Friday night, that was the Framber game. He started in the game, and the command was definitely off. He had 5 walks, like we talked about offline. Sal Stewart, it's crazy. I mean, as of right now, he's having an MVP, not just rookie of the year. You would think that's sewed up by McGonagall, but he's having an MVP type year right now. He's got to be the tops of the league, or not near the tops of the league in home runs and RBIs. He's off to a really hot start. But Nate Lowe had 2 home runs in the game. Matt McClain had 2 home runs. I mean, these are guys that really haven't hit very well all year long. I mean, Lowe was DFA from the Nationals and finished the year with Boston last year, and then just kind of found his way on Cincinnati. But this team can hit. I didn't even talk about, Ellie De La Cruz, who had a home run yesterday, and even Cabrian Hayes. Cabrian Hayes has had an awful year at the plate, but he found a way to get into action as well. So, but with that said, a lot of offense all around the board. The middle of the lineup has completely woken up. I got some numbers here. Riley Green hitting 480 in the last 7 days. 2 home runs, 5 RBIs, well over 1,000 OPS. Torque, 5 home runs in a row. That is insane. I mean, this guy was bad, like real bad. But you know what? The minute and our boy was like, "Oh, the first time I turned on the TV to watch the Tigers game this year, Torque's hitting a home run," and it's like you've seen it all this weekend. That's it, because he was struggling bad. But one thing about Torque, once he gets that home run swing going, like it's beautiful, and it's a very obviously a very duplicatable process because he's seeing the ball very, very well right now. We just need some runners to be on base when he does it because they seem to all be. What is the stats right now? I think he's got 5. I know
the big one like 10 days ago was like 6 for 69 with runners on either second or third for his career. It was not very good.
Yeah, it was real bad. But yeah, a lot of solo home runs. Jahmai Jones had a really good week as well. He's been real busy. A lot of lefties this week. His average 333 for the last 7 days, 2 home runs, 4 RBIs. And the last thing I got on here, Hialeah hit his very first home run of his career at the major league level today. I think that was the same inning as Torque. So, good young player getting the opportunity due to that McKinstry injury. I assume McKinstry, I think he's already doing some rehabilitation and down in Florida. So he'll probably be back real soon. And I was thinking to myself yesterday, I was like, man, love the power. Kelly Hamilton in the building. How you doing? Love the power, but I'm really missing McKinstry and Meadows right now. Those are 2 guys that, bring some, speed to the team, defensive versatility. And speaking of defense, it's been a little shaky. The one thing I will say is that Javi does a good job in center field, but you missed the automatic, like what you're gonna get out of Meadows out there. The bat comes and goes. It was actually really good as of the right before the injury, but Javi did have some issues at second base. We talked about it back and forth online. What did you see as far as Javi's concerned?
I mean, that just looked awkward, uncomfortable. I mean, even the way he fell to the ball, it wasn't like a dive like he was at short, like going in the hole, backhand, deep, or going right over the bag, forehand, right back up the box through the pitcher's mound. This was like falling down and just trying to like almost guess where it was at before it trickled through the infield dirt and into the grass in the outfield. But I mean, it just doesn't make sense. I know we talked about it offline too, but it was like, how does that translate? If you can play shortstop naturally, you should be able to play second base without much instruction. You know what I mean? So, but that was weird. I kind of don't want to see it again. I understand we've had 2 long stretches here, so some of these guys are getting DH and or true off days. You know, like Riley today DH. I knew I had heard him earlier when I came in because I didn't turn it on right when the game started. But I'm like, wait a second, they got all the like these changes they made mid game. I didn't hear Riley's name. I'm like, did he even hit? And I looked at the box score to figure out, oh yeah, okay, yeah, he's DHing. So you've had Colt, Torque, Glaber more often recently. I don't know if you noticed that. Glaber's been DHing a bit more over the last 8, 9, 10 days. So I don't know if that's indicative to him just feeling it a bit more this early in the season, considering his hernia recovery in the offseason from surgery. You know, we mentioned it, you know, he's older a little bit now, so kind of take the toll on you. But damn, we miss some of these guys that you mentioned, Zach and Parker, as we'll, you know, go into these a little bit further about the transaction injury list. But man, the depth with those 2 guys being out pretty much hurts their flexibility and options right now. And especially to your point, speed standpoint, these guys had multiple stolen bases, McKinstry and Parker, before they each landed on the IL.
Yeah, they definitely played a big part in manufacturing runs, especially when you got a team that's that inconsistent with runners in scoring position. It certainly helps to have some guys that can lay down a bunt or go first to third, or you know, just run the bases with some type of speed in general. But to your point about Glaber, yeah, it seems like they're kind of taking it easy with him. And for the most part, he walks a boatload, but until today, which he had a pretty good day. I think he went 2 for 3, 3 for 4. He had a pretty good day today and hit a home run. Like you said, he has life because it's been a while since he's hit the ball with any type of authority. But that ball just flies out of Great American Ballpark. So that was good to see from him. But yeah, we'll see. I'm glad because last year, I don't know what it is about Cincinnati, but we got swept last year in Detroit. I remember it vividly. I think it was deeper into the summer though. But yeah, Ellie De La Cruz and everybody else just had their way that weekend. So I'm glad we were able to at least take one game this series. So let's get to the first break and then talk roster transactions. All right. So per usual, we've got plenty of injuries and transactions to talk about. What we got going on?
Oh, it's actually a little bit lighter compared to last week, but some of the more recent stuff was over the last few days heading into the weekend. So for those of you that stayed up, you saw yesterday Connor Siebold slipped while on the mound. My immediate thought was possibly an Achilles injury, but it's determined it was just ankle inflammation, landed on the 15-day IL, which is why we saw Brent Hanafy recalled today. So he took his spot in the IL. The one that I didn't see that kind of stuck under the radar, on the 22nd, Bailey Horn was placed on the 60-day IL, which creates an automatic open spot on the 40-man roster, which they did to then purchase the minor league contract of Birch Smith, and they assigned him to the Florida Coast League, which after 4 days, we saw him today, which I totally didn't see either. But on the 22nd as well, after his second straight debacle of an outing, and not limited to just the 2, unfortunately, and Manuel de Jesus, who had a phenomenal spring, was DFA'd in that exchange as well. On the 17th, McKinstry was on the 10-day IL with hip inflammation, which resulted in what all we all know now was a Hyu Lee contract, who made his debut this week along with another home run, first home run as you mentioned, Foster. And I think something that is a little quieter happened today. Happened to see it when was looking to finalize the updates for the show. They signed to a minor league contract shortstop Andrew Navigato with no signing. Yeah, okay, all right, good.
I did
No signing designation yet. I think they're waiting to determine maybe a physical or some formality finalizings before they send him to an actual level of minor league responsibility.
Yeah, I actually thought I saw something about AAA, but maybe I'm just assuming that. But I kind of forgot about him. I'm like, he isn't already on the team, but yeah, that's a player that's been around in our system for quite some time. But as far as down on the farm, Bryce Rainier, Jordan Yost made his pro baseball debut, and I think his first at bat he hit a triple. He went from home to third in 11.48 seconds. So it's just 8 triples at the MLB level have been faster in 2026. So that guy's got some pretty crazy wheels. Bryce Rainier got a promotion this week. He debuted at lower A. Something about I've been seeing a lot about his swing. I think since he had that shoulder injury, he's been kind of, it's just the mechanics have just been a little bit off from him. So that's something to keep an eye on. Ben Malgeri had quite a week power wise. He had 3 home runs in 2 days. Gage Workman's having a really good year. He's hitting 322 with 3 home runs and 11 RBIs and 10 stolen bases. I didn't know he was a speedster. A guy to keep an eye on. I just peeped this on the Tigers headline Instagram. His name is Zach McDonald. He's actually from Portage, Michigan. There must be some type of a pipeline of players out of Portage, because I even saw somebody in the Yankee system. Unless that was a Tiger, maybe it was
Derek Jeter.
Well, yeah.
Portage Northern. Actually, no.
Kalamazoo Central.
Oh, sorry, yeah, same rivalry district. Sorry, yeah.
Right, yeah. I think this Zach McDonald is a different Portage guy that I'm thinking of. But at any rate, he's got 7 home runs already and 65 at bats, 19 RBIs, OPS over 1,000, and he's only in Lakeland. He's 22 years old, so it's nobody that I've ever heard of before, but with some eye gouging stats. Max Clark is kind of slowed down a little bit, and Corey Jokes continues to hit well. Wenzel Perez, I don't know how much longer. I mean, I'm not saying that's going to happen anytime soon, but last I checked, he was under 100, and I guess when McKinstry comes back, he would be able to kind of take over the responsibilities if they decided they want to keep Hyu Lee up. Technically, Hyu Lee is hitting, better than Perez right now, so you wouldn't have to immediately directly replace McKinstry with Lee, but we'll see. He's struggling. Perez is struggling. He had a rough spring training, which is the reason why he didn't make the team out of camp. Had a pretty, I want to say a pretty rough ending of the season last year. So a pretty constant sample size of an inability to hit. So, but that is the minor league report. Let's get to around the league. I'll pull up the standings here. But what has jumped out at you as far as the entire major leagues?
Yes, we're getting a little bit closer here to the 1/5 or 1/4 mark of the season already. As we near the final week of April already, we're about to turn the calendar to May, believe it or not. To you mothers out there, your day coming up here in about 2 weeks. Murakami, as through last night at least, was tied with Yordan Alvarez for the major league leading home run total, which also I noted Yordan is leading almost every major offensive hitting category for the last place Astros in the AL West. And I think he is the second place odds wise right now for MVP behind Aaron Judge. And I would not be surprised if he even continues his pace, even at a 75% clip, because he's leading an average, slugging, home runs, RBIs, total bases for the American League and across all baseball. This guy is absolutely on fire for the Astros. Athletics now, right atop the AL West with Texas, with Seattle kind of still trying to play catch up a little bit here after their slow start. Interesting for sure. Atlanta, first team to 20 wins to start the year, and they're also the team with the largest divisional league now at 6-game lead in the NL East. The Mets and Phillies, ironically, same division, floundering amongst the worst in all of baseball. Heading into today, they had less than 10 wins. Both the last 10 games, the NL Central Cubs, 10-0. We talked about it too last night offline. They're hot. Every team, as you mentioned earlier in the NL Central, is above 500. And with that, we've seen plenty of Sal Stewart with Reds. For the National League Rookie of the Year, he is the large and leading away vote getter right now, at least odds-on favorite by a considerable margin compared to McGonigal, who's got Murakami and Chase DeLauder in the same division with the Guardians. But yeah, Reds between Sal Stewart, De La Cruz, and now with Eugenio kind of warming up a little bit lately over the last week or so. The Reds are also starting to cook in the NL Central. So those are kind of the early takeaways right now, but we'll see what happens come around Memorial Weekend.
Yeah, and Eugenio was actually just went to the IL, which is why we didn't see him at all this week or at all in this series. The Braves, as you said, at the top of the major leagues, right? Yeah, top of the major leagues, first team to 20. And somebody said online they have not lost a series yet. They've maybe tied if there was a 4-game series, but yeah, they haven't lost, which makes sense. I mean, they're well over 500, but hopefully the Tigers can do some damage. I mean, I think we all knew the Braves were going to turn around and get back to where they were previously. I mean, the talent was always there. They just had a lot of injuries, but Olsen's having a good start to the year. You got Acuna, you got Albies, you got a lot of guys that a lot of familiar names on that Atlanta team. Yep, like you said, the A's are atop the AL West. That's a team that I figured it'd be worth keeping an eye on this year because they got a lot of young talent, but I don't know if I expected them to be atop the West, and I also probably didn't expect the Astros to be last, but very early. The Tigers and Guardians are tied right now. They are deadlocked right now at 15 and 14. I don't know if the Guardians played today, but yeah, I think one of the bigger surprises next to the thing that we're going to talk about last, the bigger things is the Mets and Phillies for sure. Two very talented teams. Soto just got back from the IL, but let's talk about the Boston Red Sox. They are dead last in the AL East, and they're off on the heels of a massive blowout against a divisional, the divisional foe in the Baltimore Orioles, 17-1. But they immediately after the game fired their head coach. Ironically, we got his brother, the base coach of the Tigers, right? His brother. That's his brother, right?
Yeah.
So Joey is the one that got fired. Joey Cora.
Alex Cora.
Alex. Joey is the one that played for the Mariners, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, Alex Cora got in as along with the hitting coach and a couple other guys. But what are your thoughts on that? And this was kind of bubbling over for a while, I would assume.
Yeah, the other name of note in the collection of coaches under Cora who were also dismissed at that same time was Jason Varitek. So that's not just a coach, that's a former World Series winning and captain catcher that they're dismissing from a coaching aspect. So based on not just a slow start, but we well documented in the off season and probably the last 3 or 4 spring training shows prior to game 1 of the season. The AL East we expected to be an absolute bloodbath, kind of like the NL West had been the last 2, maybe 3 years or so, with the Diamondbacks coming to emergence. Yeah, Dodgers and the Padres spending out the wazoo, going back probably 4 or 5 years ago to get Xander Bogaerts from Boston, which started their spending spree, which kind of culminated recently last year when they went and got Mason Miller, who right now is quickly climbing the MVP talks. Not even mentioned Cy Young for the National League, but yeah, it's interesting because you look at that and you have to imagine that there had been some behind the scenes issues or concerns made, public internally to have a very short leash this year. We're barely 30 games in. This is not a Colorado team or the White Sox from 2 years ago after they started, year 2 or 3 of their fire sale and they were going to be bad. Everyone knew it. This is a team that was expected to compete after they were in the wild card hunt, were they not, up until the last week or so, the wild card chase last year? Yeah, after they traded Devers and they had Bregman, but ended up walking this year. The team on paper should not be as bad as their record indicates right now, but I think that's a lot of it to do with their pitching too. But my guess is, to what we talked about offline, Cora won a World Series in his first year 8 years ago, and they have not even made a World Series since then. So my guess is that ownership and front office was like, look, as long as we're in the race, we won't do anything. But if it starts to go south quickly, he's out. So that's kind of what I interpret it as. But they've been fairly competitive under the majority of his career there as the manager for Alex Cora. So this definitely had the feeling of it's got to be off to a good start, or that's it.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely started with the Devers and Bregman debacle, where you trade Devers to basically appease Bregman being able to play third, and then they had an injury to their first baseman. Can't remember his name, but and then you got Garrett Crochet got off to a slow start this year. Roman Anthony, the young guy that they just recently paid, has started slow as well. I mean, still a very talented group that's playing below their standards. But I mean the timing was kind of crazy for me because I mean, first you flash the scoreboard, the 17-1, and then the next thing I look on Twitter and I see that he's fired, and it's just like, I mean, obviously the record overrides the one crazy game. It makes you wonder whether the team kind of like knew what was going on, but they bounced back today, and they still have plenty of time to get back in the swing of things, because the division is still pretty bunched up. But New York is, I'm sure it doesn't feel good that New York is atop the division and well ahead of Boston at this point. I mean, even the Blue Jays, who won the division last year, are struggling, and still that hasn't helped Boston any. So a lot of a lot of games left to be played. They won the series this week, so that's a good look for them. But yeah, we'll have to see. The Tigers. We've played Boston already, right? It was
Yeah,
in. It was
we
in.
just did in Boston. Yeah,
Right.
they never wore their home white uniform one time. That
Or the
Orient
green
series.
ones. They were the yellow one or the blue ones.
Twice. They wore those yellow ones twice, and then they wore
Okay.
the special Boston ones for the home marathon race on Monday from the original Boston bombing a few to a handful of years ago.
Right. Right. So yeah, that's all the news. Oh, Murakami. I don't think I talked about him, but I think he's got more home runs than singles this year. It's pretty
Yeah,
much because he's got I'm
he's
pretty
living
sure. Yeah, pretty much. But he's fun to watch. It's a good look for Chicago, of course, because they don't have a whole lot to cheer for out there. But they hit they hit a nice lick with him because he's hitting a lot of no cheap home runs. I mean, this guy is hitting some massive bombs as well. So
and he's hitting the pitches we all thought that he would struggle with. Remember,
that was
fastball
the
94, 95 plus.
right.
We've seen with Torkelson to the last 3 years struggle to really dominate that pitch. And he is, I think, damn near every single home run has been over 93, 94 miles an hour pitch velocity. So, but to the same point to your thing, it's either a home run or single. I don't think he even has a double to speak of yet this year. So
Yeah.
he is trying to pimp them hard.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I don't even think his average is really high. For a while, he was kind of flirting with the Mendoza line, but making those big swings count. So let's take the last break, and then we'll see what we got going on in that end of this show. All right. So as we head into the next week, obviously we have the day off tomorrow. But yeah. I mean, I hate when we have the days off. It sucks for me, but I'm sure they could use it with all the excitement and firepower this weekend. I'm sure they're going to enjoy it. But yeah, what are your takeaways? What do you want to see in the next week as far as improvements are concerned?
So I'll kind of end with that. I'll kind of lead off kind of who are trending it up and down here real quick. I mean, some of them have been the same for the last since last week. For the up category, Riley for the second straight week continues to turn it up and deliver in some clutch moments. Cole Keith still maintaining a 330, 340 average this far into the spring year already. Dingler, although has lacked in runners in scoring position, batting average this week leading into today, he was 0 for 8, but he delivers everywhere else. So that kind of has been helping him offset that. Matt Vierling has had a very nice last 7 to 10 days. Torkelson, phenomenal week. I don't know what more else you can say. And probably the only bullpen guy to speak of, Finnegan, and he had to deal with a wet mound in Cincinnati this weekend. Down, I would say Javi Baez in general, especially some of the fielding and the error he had kind of nonchalantly at short earlier in the week, threw and booted that throw away, led to a run and continued hitting. The bullpen in general, Poo Platter. I want to say not just this week or last week, with the fielding as a whole this year to start 30 some days in, not very good. Every infielder, including Dingler, has an error to speak of. In fact, some of them have multiple errors already. Torres had 1 or 2 in the last 10 days. Baez has had like 2 in the last 10 days. McConaughey has had his first 2 errors, I think, in the last 10 days. 1 for sure, unless he got a friendly scoring from the official scorekeeper this week. I thought he had 2. So that's something to keep an eye on. Outfield's been fine pretty much, but also down the last 10 days, we said Gleyber had a home run today, but I mean, he's hitting 232 and he's last in all the guys that we expect to start on a daily basis. He's last in slug. The only thing, frankly, I think that's kind of keeping him in the lineup, despite him maybe needing 2 straight days off to maybe get a mental reset, is his OBP, because as we all know, he's a patient hitter. So he does draw walks, but at the same time, in the 2 and 3 spot, if all you're doing is getting walks, traditionally you look at the lineup and how you construct it. That's what your leadoff guy, maybe your 2 guy as well, should be doing. But he's been batting in the 3 hole more so this week than ever before with some of the injuries and defensive, not defensive, but the offensive lineup approach is based on who AJ thinks you're going to see versus right or left hand. So that kind of also restricts what he's able to do defensively. But that's the system he's decided to go with. So it's been crazy,
Absolutely. As far as what I want to see, still waiting for Colt to hit that first home run of the year. He's hitting for, I think over 300 average, but, waiting for him to, I think power has always been the one thing that's kind of been lacking for him for the last couple of years, especially with the size that he has. If he can get a hold of one and start getting the ball in the air, he's a guy that could hit 20 plus home runs. I feel like McGonigal, I don't want to say we take for granted, but he's a guy that we don't even really talk about because he's just been so steady and consistent. I don't think he's had one bad series as of yet. He's hitting 333, hit a home run. It was the second pitch of the game. What was that, yesterday?
Yeah,
it was yesterday. Because it was all for none because Flaherty either had given up like 5 that first inning because we hit first. So yeah, he hit a home run and then Flaherty gave it all back immediately plus some. But yeah,
Can I highlight your point on McGonigal real quick?
Go ahead.
And from Detroit's PR Twitter, McGonigal has now reached base safely in 24 consecutive starts. It's the longest streak for a Tigers player aged 21 or younger years since Al Kaline, Mr. Tiger himself, reached base in 34 straight starts from July 26th to August 28th, 1956.
Damn.
Talking 70 years. 70 years this summer.
So that's his first 24 games. They've only played how many games, right? 24. Well, maybe not 20.
They're just under 30.
Under 30. Okay, so yeah, so okay, yeah. But anyways, yeah, that's insane. 2 home runs, 35 hits, probably a bunch of walks as well. Outside of that, hopefully Jahmai Jones gets some more opportunities in the upcoming week. I'm sure Chris Sale. Well, we'll talk about probables, but if Sale is one of the probables, he'll definitely get an opportunity to start. And still waiting on Troy Melton. He's doing bullpen sessions in rehabilitation, and normally that's a bullpen. That's probably the last step before you come back, right?
It's usually rehab. It's like
the actual rehab,
minor league actual game action. That's it. Yeah, that's usually the last of it. But yeah, I mean, to your other point too. I mean, you brought up his name. I didn't necessarily say who I was looking to improve or whatnot for this week, but we got to talk about the big elephant in the room a little bit here for a couple minutes, and that's Jack Flaherty. 2 consecutive horrible ass starts this week, and he has set some records in the worst way possible. That after Riley Green setting the franchise record for strikeouts and American League record for strikeouts in the modern era, we didn't think we could go any lower. But ladies and gentlemen, Foster, what are your 2 cents on Flaherty right now? Is it even sustainable to keep him in the rotation at this point, or because of the injuries and limitations and maybe lack of depth in the minor leagues right now, they're kind of stuck with him for the time being?
Yeah, I mean, he's looking. I mean, I jokingly said that he's looking real Maeda-ish right now. Maeda might have been better. I don't know. You see the ERA, like he only went 2 innings because you were like, maybe they'll stretch him out and see how long he can go. But we actually kind of stayed in that game, so it kind of helped to get him out of there. But yeah, 2 innings, only 2 walks. Are you kidding me? Maybe it was.
Yeah, but he's also had.
He gave up 3 home runs though. So
he's hit multiple batters the last 2 games as well, which that doesn't account for either.
Right. He definitely hit at least one guy in the last game. But yeah, okay, so that doesn't count. Because I'm like, I know he put more than 2 guys on. But yeah, so yeah, 3 home runs. That was, I mean, granted, a lot of people hit home runs in this series, but yeah, the last two he only went 2 innings and 3 1/3. I mean, that's equivalent to like 1 good outing. Somehow he didn't give up any, or he gave up 6 walks, but 0 earned runs. Anyways, yeah, it's been rough. You kind of know it's coming to a point to where like it's not going to be pretty when he's up there. You always want to have hope that he's going to bounce back and give you that season that he gave us 2 years ago before we traded him to LA. But it appears he left all his success in LA when he won the World Series. Not that he pitched great for them, but he did win a ring. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know where he would be beneficial outside of long relief and blowouts. Like
that's it. I mean, you go to the dungeon, the Maeda dungeon, the long relief. I mean, there's no other option right now. I mean, you're paying him $20 million this year. If you didn't cut Maeda as bad as he was, you're not going to cut Flaherty. So
we did eventually cut Maeda at the end of last year. He didn't play for the whole season.
That was in year 2 of it. I mean, we were calling for his head to be cut that first year. It was bad.
That first year.
And you're like, well, he ended with injuries. They're going to give him another chance. And they picked him up because it was a 2-year deal. It wasn't an option. It was $20 million the first year and I think $15 million the second year. And I'm like, this is more than what the bullpen is making. Like, this is crazy. It was bad. But, I mean, to your point about Jack, though, like, after that trade, I watched almost every playoff start he had with the Dodgers that year, and it was phenomenal. Ace stuff. AA guy, emergency call up that day, crap the bed. And it was off and on like that for the rest of the year. And I'm not going to say it again because I've already said it a few times. Like, I had questions about his actual health heading into this year. So the fact that this is kind of happening as you get the Savant page up right now, I mean, this is screaming. Remember, he had an issue last year with dead arm fatigue. That's never a sign.
He didn't miss any starts though, right?
No, but there was indication that his arm was feeling quote unquote tired, and that's never a good sign for a guy who, sure, he's got 4 pitches listed, 5 technically on Savant. But, I mean, let's be real. I'm calling BS. He's not throwing his curveball 21% this year. This guy's a four-seam slider pitcher almost exclusively. Change, sinker, he damn near never throws. I mean, that's less than once a game. Curveball, if he's throwing it, it ain't very good because they're sitting on 1 or 2 pitches the whole, every the start on him.
I think the curve is the strikeout pitch. Let me see. Where's
the
put away?
True curve? Is it a knuckle curve?
Knuckle. It's a knuckle curve. Damn. The whiff 37% on the put away. Mostly the fastball because he throws it the most. But yeah. The whiff rate is highest with his knuckle curve. That and the sinker, but the sinker he's only thrown 33 times the whole year. So
yeah, his
I don't know.
That's 4-seamer at 24%. But yeah, I mean, if that's his put away pitch, he ain't getting into it very often because they're touching up one of the other 2 pitches he's throwing more often. You're putting the bat in the shoulder because to your point, between the walks and the hit by batters, they're almost getting on just as much that way versus actually swinging the lumber. So they need to get some of these other guys back off the injured list and into the rotation to kind of help offset some of this. Because Skubal he'll have a great start. and then the next start he'll look great for 4 innings, maybe 5, and then he'll just give up 5 within 10 minutes. All of a sudden, you're like, "What the hell just happened?" Because this team right now lacks. I mean, they're getting some power production this week, right? We'll agree, yeah, from across
Yes,
the
for
lineup,
sure. Yeah.
guys.
The bats, I don't have too much to say about the bats. I mean, lot of home runs. I would like to see us capitalize on the base runners more. I feel like in the Brewer series, that's what killed us.
Yeah,
But it's kind of flip flop. I mean, the bullpen at one point was probably what I was most. I mean, the starting pitching staff was pretty solid too, especially until we realized that JV, it wasn't JV, but but yeah, it's kind of flip flop where the bullpen had a rough week. Will Vest has been pretty bad. Jansen got touched up. Anderson is very, it's funny because I didn't really. I mean, he has pretty good stuff. I don't know. I think his ERA is in the 7s right now. Obviously, De Jesus has already been DFA'd. And now Seabold, who was probably one of our better, more dependable ones, is now on the IL. So yeah, we're losing them just as quick as we can get them back. But it's pretty obvious to me what's going on with Flaherty. Obviously, the knuckle curveball isn't what it used to be. The chase rate is nothing. The expected batting average is actually well above average, but walk rate 4 percentile. I mean, maybe they're not. I mean, they hit a lot last game, 3 home runs, but when you're walking that
problem, they were all in the box.
right. Oh man, yeah, definitely, right down the pipe. So yeah, he's got to have better command and throw more strikes because those walks will kill you. So
I will say one more thing on that on the broadcast. See, at the bottom there, his extension rate's not bad. It's what is that 70th percentile?
Yeah, he's 6'5". I mean 6'4". So he's a tall guy.
But 70th percentile is where landing. Andy Dirks mentioned on the national telecast last night that he was among like a top 10, top 15 starting pitcher of full extension, which would have put him in practically the 99, 98th percentile. So he did openly suggest, he goes, I don't know if that's playing a role into his decline of some of the action and or velocity in his pitches in the last year or two. He said, but that's definitely a retraction from what he used to be earlier in his career in terms of among the best of latest release point for extension.
Yeah.
I just don't know if it was with us or before he got to us, but you can kind of see.
Yeah, 82 percentile here. Oh yeah, look, 2022. 91. Yeah, 85. Yeah, it's definitely declined. Look at that.
Wow.
Yeah. This is 2019 though, but yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's still up there, but yeah, as he's gotten older, and the injuries have done their thing because he's he definitely has.
He hasn't been injured with us.
Not with us. I'm saying he got that out of the way, but I'm sure those injuries early in his career plays a part into his inability to extend as well now. So, but yeah, as we get into the last segment of the show, let's who are the probable starters for the upcoming week?
So yeah, that was funny. I know you teased it well there with Atlanta, and potential Cy Young repeater Chris Sale, who just never seems to get old. They have listed everyone TBD, so I have no idea who we are facing, but they get a lovely off day to fly back and kind of just rest and chill. They face the Braves, NL leading Braves, Tuesday through Thursday. Tuesday will be Casey Mize. Wednesday will be Skubal, and then Thursday will be Framber Valdez. So in terms of arms, this would be the best collection we could put forth against the best NL team right now. Friday through Sunday, the Texas Rangers. I think we are in Texas, if I'm not mistaken.
No, that's in Detroit.
Okay, so they do have two. No, sorry. Yeah, you're right. They're in Atlanta because we had them at home last year.
Right.
So they're in Atlanta. That's my fault. I misspoke. So they will go back on the road to face Atlanta. On the road or back home to face Texas. Friday will be Jack Flaherty or maybe TBD. Who knows? He'll be facing off against their younger prospect and stud Mackenzie Gore, who they acquired from the Washington Nationals in the offseason. Saturday will be Montero against Kumar Rocker. For those that don't know, stud college pitcher at Vandy, went through major elbow surgery his senior year and was still drafted pretty high by Texas. I think this is his second year, if I'm not mistaken, maybe his third. And then Sunday will be Casey Mize against Jack Leiter, legacy son of the dad Leiter, Al Leiter.
Yeah.
And then briefly beyond that, we will welcome in, coming off of that weekend, briefly welcome Boston for a 3-game set. We have another off day and then fly out to Kansas City to play on pretty much almost our halfway point of the divisional games with the Royals already this year.
All right. And I was actually planning on, well, maybe possibly going to the game on Friday, but you said Jack Flaherty starting, maybe. Between him and
You mean having a Mackenzie Gore national jersey go with your boy?
Oh no.
Yeah,
but I mean, yeah, Gore, that could be, it might be a lot of offense in that game. But yeah. So we got the Braves, then the Rangers, and then the Royals. So should be interesting. But yeah. Any closing remarks before we get up out of here?
Man, I think went through some of their runners in scoring position and runners left on base prior to today's game. They played every day this week, so for the last 6 days, they left 43 on base and were 15 of 58 runners in scoring position. Interesting on some of the splits on that. The more successful runners in scoring position this week, Jemai Jones, 2 for 3, Cole Keith, 2 for 5, same with Riley Green, 2 for 5, Bierling, 2 for 7, Hyu Lee was 2 for 6 before his home run today. Torres 1 for 3, Torque 1 for 4, McGonigal 2 for 5, Mirage 1 for 4. The Opers were Dingler in 8 tries, Baez 4, and Carp 3. But ironically, despite that 258 average, that's kind of right around the league average for runners in scoring position this year. But the downside is they average almost 3/4 of a runner more left on base per game compared to league average. So that's some of the gap for the lack of production. But boy, we should see home runs this week and power. We just hope that it continues because Braves coming to town, man. That's going to be offensive firepower on that side. So we got to be ready to match it if our bullpen is going to be, leaky here.
Yeah. But good to see the bats get the middle of the lineup get going. Carey hit a couple home runs this week as well. Riley Green seems like he's kind of getting back into form as far as the he's been an all-star the last 2 years. So let's see. Yeah, hitting over 300. That's kind of impressive too. Cutting down the strikeouts. He's been walking a lot more. 17 RBIs. So yeah, I mean, sometimes you talk about Riley or Carey, who one might not be around much longer. Riley's been pretty consistent, and he's shown that he can make some adjustments and take heed to some of the criticism as well. So homegrown guy, early pick. I think that he's kind of a slept-on person when we talk about who should be getting that extension. I mean, two All-Star games in a row, Silver Slugger. He's kind of covering a lot of different bases. So, Yeah, hopefully him and
Let
Torque
me
stay.
ask you this. I know we're wrapping up here, but let me ask you this. I think this is kind of important here too, though. Why do you think to me, there's only two guys on this team that get the most three, going back to last year too. They get the most, I feel like, special treatment and opportunity to get themselves out of a slump. And they're almost exempt from some of the other nuances of pinch hitting that the rest of the lineup absolutely is eligible to be exposed to be pinch hit for. Of course, Torkelson's had a great week, but heading this week, we had talked offline. Why are guys, and even a week before that, where Riley was off to a really slow start, why were guys like Riley and Torque still getting allowed to be playing every day when Cole Keith had been batting 350, 400, kept getting pinch hit for? Kerry Carpenter had more power than some of the other guys, kept getting, he was slow, average-wise, 100%, but he kept getting pinch hit for early as well. Or guys like Jones, who struggled until this week, or for someone who had been struggling and not been pinch hit for, like Torkelson. Is there something you may think or know? I'm not saying no, but could speculate on that, because it seems to me like the better hitters on this team are regularly getting shafted and pinch hit and getting pulled and yanked. But it did come through this.
You're saying that Kerry is one of the better hitters? I mean, he's one of he has such distinct weaknesses. It's not that he's not one of the best hitters on the team, but I mean, I got the let's just pull it up then.
He's been one of their most impactful hitters in clutch situations the last 2 years. But I'm just
not last year he hit in the 100s as far as runners in scoring position, and he obviously struggled against lefties for most of the year. He had a good playoffs. I can't take that away from him, but I mean, look at the expected batting average. I mean, when you swing and miss that much, you strike out that much, it's feast or famine with him. Yes, he's hit 6 home runs, and the average is up now. It looks like he's at 237 right now, so that's pretty good. But I mean, it's too much of it's too much of a risk when you strike out that much. You can almost bet that that's what's going to happen. It's not the savant page isn't his friend yet. When he puts the bat on the ball, the hard hit, barrel, exit velocity, it's there. He's got crazy power, but he's got to cut down on the swing and misses. One thing about Riley, I mean, Riley has all the accolades. He's been like I said, all-star, silver slug, pretty decent splits versus righties and lefties. He's paid, he's paid the cost to be the boss. If he needs a day off, he'll let it be known. But outside of that, Kerry Carpenter has kind of pigeonholed himself in the fact that he's that he can't hit lefties and he strikes out too much. So Colt, I mean, I can't say too much about Colt except for the fact that the power, the power numbers haven't been there.
Okay, he was hit 400 heading into this week. Like, damn, and he's getting pinch hit for. Like, that's crazy, though.
Look at his page.
Lack of home runs, yes, but he's still driving. He's getting doubles. The ball comes off his bat. You, pardon my French, you fucking know it though. It comes off hot.
I mean, look at the hard hit rate there. I mean, exit velocity. Yeah, he's got to lift that mug. What's going on, man?
I don't care if he fucking breaks someone's nose in the second row and it goes 379 over the fence, as long as it comes in at 110 exit velo and a 12-degree launch angle like my driver off the deck.
Yeah, the metrics look good for him for sure. That's a whole lot of red. He's hitting 317. We're old school. I'm old school. The average, when I see an average like that, I love stuff like that. Same thing with McGonagall's 333. So, he pretty much needs to be in the lineup. I don't know what his splits are off the top of my head as far as versus lefties and stuff like that. But
To bat that hot, bro, you gotta figure it out. You know what I mean? You kind of have to lie while it's happening that hot. You kind of have to figure it out a little bit, and then you can rein it back.
Oh,
As
he hasn't faced any lefties. He's only had 3 at bats versus lefties, and he's got a 0 average, but 342 versus righties. Wow. So he'll be in the lineup. He's for certain going to be in the lineup every day against a righty. But yeah, it looks like they've completely avoided lefties for him because he's got 2 runs. So, but
yeah,
what do you get hit by a pitch? How do you, or you reached on some errors or something? How do you even score without walking?
You can.
Oh no, it isn't. No hit
fielder's
by pitch.
choice. Fielder's choice counts actually as like an offer at bat.
Okay.
I think unless there's an RBI
or fly out or no, you got to run.
Would be another unofficial at bat.
Right, but he's got 2 runs and he has no walks and no hit by pitches. So yeah, reached on errors. Something happened there, but anyways, last 7 days, 375. Yeah, he's been on a heater. He's got to hit some home runs, man.
But I mean, I'm just saying, like, because Perez came up right after Parker's injury, and he hasn't really done.
Got a home run. He's got that one home run.
Point about Carpenter's shortfall this year. Perez has not done much to win more opportunities away from Carey in those situations, but I feel like AJ's too married to Perez because of this switch hitting role. But I'm like, dude, you're batting under 100. You're not hitting any which direction. Like,
yeah, probably has no hits with his right, because I know the home run came when he was left-handed, so he may not have any hits at all with batting right-handed. So that's really turning him into a platoon player at this point. So
how much longer?
Kind of a nothing player at this point. You said what?
How much longer before they call up Max Clark for Perez? Let's do it right now.
I don't think it'll be for Perez.
No. If he continues to bat under 100, he ain't going to get sent down.
I think they'll bring McKinstry back first and just swap him out. Make McKinstry play corner outfield, kind of in place of the Perez situation, and then maybe they might send Hayuli back, maybe, but
right hand bat. That was a nice.
Clark, you're gonna have to make room for. That's going to be the tricky part.
No, you're right. You're right.
So, and Clark kind of has hit a little bit of a wall. He slowed down a little bit. So,
yeah. Damn, you can't even cut Jones now. He's now all of a sudden hot too.
Yeah. For a while, I was like, maybe Jones, but no, Jones had an amazing week.
And that's a problem. He's one of like 3 right-handed bats. Him, Torres, and Bierling are the only true, and Dingler. Sorry, one of 4. But that's the thing. They're limited in right-handed bats on the roster.
Oh, whoops! I thought I had the Clark stats up. But yeah,
not that
you kind of need Jones to continue to play well. So, but yeah, 305, 382. Got his first home run.
Rogers maybe gets
Frito? So what?
Do we think Rogers in the next 30 days gets?
Nah, not for Nito. It's not worth it.
I mean, he's got an option. Rogers has the option.
Oh, does he have an option? I think Rogers had a hit or something. Didn't he pitch the other day?
I can't believe he didn't pitch 2 times or this week in general. Damn.
Yeah, got that strikeout on the knuckleball.
That was nasty.
Yeah. He might stay around just off the strength of his emergency pitching abilities. That's crazy. They don't even have his stats up. That's how bad they are. Oh, he's hitting 148, 4 RBIs. Yeah.
His extra hit the other day bumped it from 100 to 140.
Yeah. He's only playing, like you said, twice a week, so it doesn't really matter.
But his defensive ability's deteriorated too. We called it out in the series, dude. He got stolen on 3 times in 1 inning. 3 times in 1 inning. That's not good.
He's just that guy they're hanging on to. But All right, we're over an hour. We'll see you guys next Sunday, or no? Well, I think we're making an adjustment next Sunday, but we'll let you guys know. Subscribe to the channel. We got another action-packed week of Tigers baseball. Tune into everything else. We got the Pistons show on Monday, womp womp, and then yeah. Well, oh yeah, and then of course on Wednesday we'll be breaking down the entire NFL draft, including the Detroit Lions and everybody else in the NFC North. It's your boy Foster Child. Let's get up out of here.
Get your lick back.